Hey, it says that we're live, so I'm going to take it for what it says. This is Gwyn Gittens, and I have a guest this evening, Carmen Salome, and we're going to talk about redistricting and a few other things. So let me make sure I show the chat, and I'm going to slip over and make sure. Okay, it's telling me Facebook profile is fine. I will give myself a note to see if this is doing. And just say good evening. All right. There we go. Now, for some reason, I have to go over to my Facebook page real quick and make sure that it's showing up live on there.
Okay.
I have an issue. So this is the technical difficulties that we will fix in just a second. Well, while I'm doing this, I think I got it up. Yes, I do. Hold on one second. Let me change one thing and make sure everybody can see us. Edit audience. My computer is so slow today.
The weather, I think the weather, it was pretty bad out here.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly out. Okay, I think we are all set now. I clicked it for the public, and I think that we're all set. So good evening, everyone. Gwyn Gittens here, and I am on the Lee County School Board. This is not a school board sanctioned event. This is Gwyn Gittens and friends, Carlin Salome tonight. And I come on to just talk to you about what's going on in the community, answer your questions. The live chat is open, so feel free to ask a question, put a question in there. And again, my statement at the beginning, I am on the school board. I am not on this as a function of the school board. I am not representing the Lee County School Board. I'm representing Gwyn Gittens, citizen in Lee County. And if any board members are out there, I do not mind if you watch. You cannot participate at this time. And anyone that wants to watch and not come on, that's fine as well. And afterwards, it will be posted in several places, and you won't have to worry about it. You can still give comments, and I'll still go back and answer you throughout the week. So I see we got two people on.
Me and you.
Yes, right. And I think there's some more out there that are watching. And sometimes people like to come on and just watch, and that's fine. We're glad to have you here. If you want to come on and join us, then that's good as well. So let me let my guest, Carmen Salome, just tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, okay. Well, Carmen Salome, I am retired, have a background in local government. I have a passion to serve my community. I am a member of the Hispanic Vote of Southwest Florida, one of the founding members and a current member. But just like Gwen, I am here as a resident, just trying to understand this and, talk about these maps. I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, we posted, hey, Bonnie, Bonnie's on. Yay. Happy Thursday. I am going to at one point share my screen and let you guys see some things. Last week, no, about a week or so ago, we had a briefing meeting, workshop type thing, and a staff explained in general what the redistricting is all about and gave us some updates as well. So I may put that video up in a minute to let you see it. But in the meantime, Carmen, let's talk about for a second, what is redistricting? And we're going to keep it very much on the average person level so everyone can understand. So, what would you tell somebody that you mentioned redistricting and they,
Right.
huh?
My understanding of redistricting happens every 10 years after the census, and I believe it's a legislative function that tells these counties, goes back to the counties and says, okay, you've got the census. Now you need to redistribute or refashion your district lines and redistribute the population because it possibly grew
Right,
or shrunk, but in
right.
most cases it grows. Redistribute that population so and make it as even as possible within those districts that you are serving.
And let's talk about that for a second. To the average person, why would it be necessary to have those districts even? And we have what, five county commissioners,
Five
I
county
believe it is,
commissioners,
and
right?
each one of them is responsible for a specific district. However, they, just like the board members of the school board, represent the whole county.
They make decisions that impact the entire county. They have to work collectively. So
Right.
I think it's important because first of all, it doesn't uh, it the one that reaches out to me mostly is for voting purposes.
Okay.
You want to be able to make sure that that is as fair and equitable as possible in population, so that it's represented well in the vote, so that there are not pockets of underrepresentation or not being counted or not being voted.
Hmm.
So I guess just working better as a whole. That's the first thing that kind of, and I think also too, it must help these county officials see where these pockets of growth are happening and help them with their planning of, okay, we're going to need school there. We're going to need a library there eventually. We're going to
Right.
need a bridge or a road there.
Right.
That's
And
another.
even, even infrastructure like, electricity or whatever,
Yeah,
or
we're
water
going to need to bring
services,
right
and they have to
utilities
know
there.
where is the growth. Um, Kind of, Gwyn Gittens' version as well is that even though the county commissioners are county-wide, the reason those individual districts need someone to kind of represent them in the whole big picture is that they have to live within the area that
Right.
they represent. So they know the people, they know the conditions, they know which things may need to uh, be prioritized first, or what things need to be maintained, and they can represent their
Mhm.
particular area
Mhm.
for their needs and wants and desires as well. Hello, Carla Rubio. Thank you for joining. So we're
Also,
talking.
too, I mean, the county is so big. It's what, 800,000 people or something like that. Imagine if there was just one person. So having, these 5 or 7 elected in the county's instance, it's 5 county commissioners
Mhm.
representing that pot of people. So those folks know exactly who their point person is to be able to
Exactly.
come to them, maybe either hold them accountable or just come to them when they have an issue.
Right. And I'll add a little bit to why the redistricting, because every 10 years when we have the census, and all of you know I was the census queen trying to get you, please just go. It's good. It's good for us. And as a result, I know in the East Zone, we went up quite a bit.
Yeah.
In some areas, there was like a 25% increase, which is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, understanding all of this is like pulling up crabgrass. You understand one piece and it takes you to the next. The census is so that government knows how many people do we have in
Mm-hmm.
this particular area. And that also affects our funding, grants, all types of things. And then when you talk about the county and the county commissioners, they would deal with things with state funding and state
Mhm.
changes in laws and things that affect each area. So after the census is done, we get the numbers back, and the county commissioners say, "Well, last year, Mr. Hammond had this area, but look, it's grown so much over here, and I think 152,000 somewhere around in there, 150 to 152, is kind of the baseline
Right.
that they try to keep each of those five areas kind of equal
This
to
time
that."
around, yeah. I think I
Yes,
remember the last time I was, because I worked for the county during one of these, and I think it was like 124,000. So that just shows you how much the
what?
growth has happened. Yeah.
We have really gone
Mm.
up. Okay, I have a comment. I break in with comments. Hello, Miss Page. And Page says, surprised to see the new hospital being placed where it is, given what you're talking about related to growth and infrastructure needs. I was a little surprised about that too.
Mhm.
I turned on the news and they said there was going to be a new Lee Health Extension Hospital, Winkler, and I forget where the other cross street was, but it was kind of interesting where it was. But that's the type of thing. Thanks for that, Paige, because um, that's the type of thing they look at. If the numbers went from 120 to 154, what does that mean? More water, more infrastructure.
Mhm.
I know our friends in the Cape deal with water issues a lot more than some of us in the southern part, but that's some of the things to look at. So let's go on. And at this time, in fact, I think a month or two ago, the county commission, I think it was in September, so it's a little over a month ago now, got the, and I say tentative numbers for the census because there's always some other report coming after.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm a little leery about the numbers because that was COVID. COVID was right
Yes,
in this, and I think I can remember I did a little bit of that canvassing for the census. I was also a census worker, and
right,
there was a strategy right down to door knocking, and a lot of
yes,
that couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. So
exactly.
I'm afraid with those numbers, just
No,
how.
and I totally understand because,
Mhm.
in fact, the last phase for the census workers was to go to those areas that at that point were kind of undercounted.
Mhm.
And I remember talking extensively to some folks that were census workers about going out door to door. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty tricky.
Yeah.
We did parades and all kinds of things that we
Yeah,
could do.
you did very creative activities over there, and it's no wonder you got a good count.
But it was interesting. It was challenging. How do we
Mhm.
get to these people? So, and get everybody counted. So let's go on to, if I can pull this up. And what we're going to do is show you there are, starting out, they had five maps. And by they, I mean the county commission had developed five maps. They presented them at their meetings and they posted them online. And also in September, no, first part of October, there were discussions about other maps.
Mhm.
And the NAACP had suggestions for another map. So the county listened to what they were saying and developed maps to try to go along with what the
Mhm.
NAAC was saying. But then the NAACP created their own. So at one point we had 5, 6, 7, 8 maps. And then they took off, I think, 6A and B
Mhm.
and left 6C. 6C, when you look at it, is the NAACP map that
Okay.
they presented. And then the final map at the last meeting, Commissioner Hammond said that he had worked on a map and presented
Mhm.
it. So there was one discussion about let's narrow it down to the ones we think have the most potential. And Commissioner Ruane said he
He
felt
wanted them all, right?
we need to have them all in
Yeah.
here. So now when you go on, we have 5, 6, 7 maps.
Right.
So let's just take a look. If I can do this, drum roll and prayer, please. So, I love this program when it works.
Yeah. So for anybody that's listening, all of this information is available online on the county's website. There's a big button when you get right on the first landing page that'll say redistricting maps. You click there, and there's even you'll be able to click up the maps. And I believe there's even an interactive one where you can kind of play around with a map as well, build your own map. And there's
Right,
also state software that's available. That's what Commissioner Hammond said.
right. You can go ahead
That's,
and talk about some of them while I am attempting to
well,
bring this.
it's my understanding that the county put together, I think, 5 maps. I think
Yes.
they did that. And I got to say, I think they're still doing the process the way they always do the process, the
Hmm.
same old way. At the meeting, there was some folks that kind of expressed that, a little bit more transparency would have been um, is warranted at the beginning. And
Hmm.
so, I would suggest to the county, please, when it's time to do this, open it up and start off with a citizen guided conversation, and start there first and make your first map based on the input that you're getting.
Right. Okay, I'm not sure what you guys can see. You should be able to see my screen. And
Okay. I'm
if anybody, are you seeing us or are you seeing the screen?
I see like I think it's your screen. I see the chat messages.
Okay. Let me come back over and see if someone, hi dear, thanks for coming on. Okay. There is my screen. When I do share it, can you guys tell me if you can see it? I,
Nope,
no, not yet. Let me
not
go to
me.
Facebook and see if it's showing up. Okay. Well, let's see. I've opened it twice and it's up there and it says sharing. Okay. I see what's happening. Stop sharing it to Facebook. I will try to share it here. This is good old technology at its best. And I don't know. There we go. This, I think I've got it. Fingers crossed. All
There you
right. You
go.
see it? Yay. We did it. Okay. So I'm not seeing your comments at this point. I'm sharing my screen. So I will make some comments and then I'll go back and look at your questions. So this is on the Lee County of Southwest Florida. And you go down, and actually, it's the first thing here you see 2021 redistricting. Click on, and you can also do it in Spanish. And at the top of the list, this was updated on the 26th. So this is the most recent,
Hmm.
and it contains, make it a little bigger, the maps alternatives 1 through 7. So let's take a quick look. And it's slow. What it's coming up. So at the top of it, what we're going to see is the current district map and exactly what we had since, what is it, 2010 when the census was
Yes.
done.
Hmm.
Okay, and then and I found it helpful to kind of go back to that one from time to time to see uh, what really the differences were.
Hmm.
And I just want to give a caveat. I am not talking about, oh, I like this one or don't like that one. We are just talking in general, showing you the information. So here's some of the, when we were talking before about they try to get the districts equally, excuse me, divided.
Hmm.
And you'll see on this screen, and you were right, you were close, you said 124. In 2010, the target population for each district was about
Oh
123,751.
wow.
Look at the difference. So, based on the census of 2020, the average population, the target that they're looking for, is 152, 164 in
Hmm.
all 5 zones. That is interesting.
Yeah.
And I like this chart because it shows you, like I'm in District 5 and we increased by 3.42%. Um, and this shows how much. This is interesting. One,
So,
decrease.
Gwen,
Yeah.
your screen is not moved. So I'm assuming you're on page 2 of that report.
Yes. Are you seeing as I'm scrolling?
No, I cannot see you scrolling. And
Oh,
yeah, I can't see you scrolling. It's just the Lee County page there.
let me see
Yeah.
something
And then,
here.
but I have a hard copy, and I don't know if folks have a, I don't know if folks can see the scrolling or if they have a hard
Yes, I
copy.
don't know. Let me see if there's any comments. I'm on Facebook here. I'm gonna put a message in. Someone says they cannot see the scrolling.
Okay.
All right. So let me try something else. But they do see the map. Try one more thing. Hmm, technology. Let's see if I can just pull it up as just a map. And if you guys can see that. And I'll go back. But if you go to this site, it is very, very interesting
It's got a
to,
lot of great data. Yeah.
yes. Okay, can you see the map up there?
No.
Oh man. It says that it's sharing to Melon. Let me go back here. All right. Yeah, it's frozen on that one piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's interesting. District 2 had the largest increase of population up to they're 160, and then right behind them, I mean, a hair behind them is District 5.
Wow.
So people, it kind of tells you where people are settling in, and
It really does. Um yeah, people are sending me, okay, Bonnie is my technical person. When you open screen, select the tab you wish to display. Once you change the screen, you have to do a new tab. So let me do it one more time. I will share the screen.
yeah, I agree with your commenter page. She says 2 and 5 are where the growth are happening. So, yep, I agree with that.
Okay. Yes. Yes. And if you can see the comments. So if you want to
Yeah.
go through those while I'm
Mhm.
attempting to do this.
Oh, somebody posted the link to the report. That is very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. So can you
Oh, there
tell
you
me?
go. You see that?
Okay, you see that one. I think I have to just do the page at a time. So
Okay.
this is the map we were talking about that's really interesting. It shows the growth from the one census to the next.
Mhm.
And this is fascinating. We went from 123.7 to 152, 164.
Mhm.
And like, what we repeat what you were saying about the different districts.
I said that District 2 and District 5 were the ones that showed the biggest growth there. So District 2 went from 124,000 to 160. And
Right.
then right behind, it won't be long before District 5 is,
Right.
the
I mean,
biggest.
it's the fastest growing, and that
Yeah,
is the East Zone.
yes, it is.
And basically, right now, the boundaries are um, 82 kind of in the south, and then 75. But after you cross the river, and I'll show you on the map, there's a bit of North Fort Myers over to Slater Road. So I also find this interesting that District 1, which is Sanibel and a
Some of
bit of
Cape
the
Coral,
Cape, and yes,
Brook
and just a
Grand.
little bit of Fort Myers and all that, down by 5.28.
Hmm.
Now that's interesting to me. That I don't know if they were just more cautious about COVID and didn't get out and didn't get on anything,
Yeah.
or what caused it, but that's interesting. Now, when I change the screen, tell me if you see any. Do you see another table too?
There you go. Uh-huh. Yes,
Yes, it's working.
it's working.
All right, so this is where they start talking about the population distribution. Remember, I said their goal was 152,000, give or take,
Mhm.
as the average in each one.
Right.
So basically, what they're doing, folks, is looking at these maps, looking where the growth is. They'll move a line here or move a line there, but then they recalculate to see what does that do to that 152 number.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go down. Here, this one is interesting, that population distribution by district. That the lowest, which is interesting, was District 1. Well, alternative. Oh, this is with the maps. I'm sorry. Using the 7 maps, this is telling you if they used map number 1 for redistricting, it would have an average of the 152 to 151. The difference would be about 135. I mean, 1,335. The highest number is 4, and 4
Mhm.
would give us a difference of 4,000. So they're looking to keep this number over here under difference as low as
As
possible.
low as possible.
Yes.
It's interesting. I listened to the commission meeting. I guess it's the last meeting where they talked about this, and number 4 wasn't even mentioned. So
Yeah.
it might be a map that was not very popular.
Well, you'll see when I show you what it looks like. Okay, you guys still seeing me? You
Yes.
know, the standard deviation. Um, so here's the percentage map for 0.95% deviation. So that's kind of, I think they're going next on that one. And the next highest deviation is map number 3, which is interesting because I've heard a lot of talk about 3.
Yeah, there seemed to be one of the ones that some of the public was advocating for.
Right. So I guess on this one, for compactness, in other words, um, take for example the Cape. The Cape can look like a very small area, but it is very, very
Very
concentrated
dense. Hmm.
and very, very dense. So they looked at each of the maps to see what the score would be for compactness. So
Under each map alternative, right?
yes, under each map alternative. Let's see what's the highest. So 7 got the highest score. No, 1 got the highest score. And then 7. So let's go on down and take a look at some maps. What's this one? Oh, this one is interesting too. Did you look at this? This is population by race, and as you're in each district.
Okay.
So this is, if you're scrolling through on your computers, it's page 8 of 43, and it's the population by race. So as you go down, white alone, Black, African American, it's just interesting to see how this is broken up. And I know the first time I looked at this, I thought, we got that many Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders here. I didn't even realize that we have 312 um, Native Hawaiians in Lee County. That's interesting. Um, okay. Are you there, Carmen?
I'm right here. I'm looking and I'm trying to remember. I was involved in something where I was looking at some information around the county, and I ran into that kind of information of Pacific Islanders, and they were living in the Fort Myers beach area.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
We're talking about island people, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. The other one I found very, very interesting is two or more races.
Hmm.
And each, as we continue to grow in population and that number grows, to me, that is so interesting. 10 years down the road, how much of these other categories are going to fold into two or more races?
Yeah.
If we've got a total of 13% are not in a specific category, which is very interesting. Let me go back. Do we have any questions or comments out there? Because I can't see them.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So now let's go down. This was by race as well. Let's get to the maps. Oh, okay. So this is by map. In other words, they had to look at so many different things when they created a map.
They needed to make sure that they were as balanced as possible with the
Right.
population.
Okay. This is the very first. This shows you what it is now. I didn't
Mhm.
make that small. Okay. This shows you. Okay, you can stop growing now. I can't keep this.
Yeah, so this is our current map. And I think one what I'd like to note to anybody who's watching and trying to learn this, because I'm trying to learn this too, is in the
Me
center of
too.
the map, you see the blue section, District 4, that it crosses over the river and it takes in an area, a section of Fort Myers.
Right.
That's what's happening right now.
Now, the issue with that, which is this is what we have currently, and the issue with that is one of the parts of the statute that talks about how you create the district maps says contiguous
Yeah,
lines. In other words, you can't
yeah,
just
I saw
jump
that
over
somewhere
one.
on here.
And then natural boundaries, and it says natural boundaries, which could be roads, rivers, bodies of water, whatever. So the comment has been, especially for these folks in Fort Myers, downtown area, is that this is not contiguous because of this major body of water.
Hmm.
And kind of defining the contiguous is like right next to each other.
Yeah, like it seemed like it would have made more sense stopping at the river, right?
Mhm.
Using that as a boundary line instead of crossing over it.
Well, when you think about it, why would that be important? It would be important because, let's say, for example, in the Cape, they have a lot of water issues with their canals and all that. That's not a concern of this part of Fort Myers and downtown as much as it is up here. So when they talk, what is the word for it? Community interest is another word they use. And they want to keep areas together that
Yeah,
have
similar
similar
communities together. Okay.
community interest. In other
Okay.
words,
Yeah.
is it water quality? Is it
Mm-hmm.
streets and roads, whatever? And for example, in the Cape, they may have more of an issue with water quality, whereas in the uh, Lehigh Acres in District 5, there may be streets and roads and lights.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so this is what we have now, and it also shows what it was in 2010 and what it is now. And you see the growth. Unbelievable. 123 to 152. 123 to 144. And that's interesting in District 1 because remember on the other thing it said they went down,
Yeah.
but they still grew.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. And still East Zone I think is the biggest growth. No, no, no. District 2,
Yeah.
123 to 160. Huh. Okay. So let's look at alternative 1. And there are 2 maps for each one. The one shows the way it was, and the way it is, and the second one has these grids on them that shows the changes. So if you're seeing what did it do?
Mm-hmm.
So one, you already see, yeah, they took away part of on the other side of the river, but they still kept a piece of it.
Oh yeah.
And the biggest change to
Oh
me
wow. Look
in
what they
District
did to District 5.
5.
That's
This
crazy.
wow. So it goes all the way from the county line in Charlotte at the top, Hendry County, 7582, but it still takes in a whole bunch of down here.
So that area there that they've added, is that right now undeveloped?
For the most part. You
Okay.
see, let me make it a little bit bigger. As you come over, hope it stops. There's Alico Road, okay?
Oh, okay.
And this is Corkscrew. Can you see everything?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's Corkscrew. So, and here's 82. All of this is Lehigh. Here's Daniels and Gateway. Right here, there's cows right now. there's there's nothing in there. The in the future, Alico Road is going to go from here and continue out to 82.
Um,
It's gonna go kind of like this. This is Sunshine right in here. And Alico Road will come out this way. So all of this in here now is undeveloped. But as you go further south, Corkscrew, out here you've got those homes, Blue Waters, and
mhm.
a
Okay.
lot of housing complexes out here. And then you come to the Collier County line. That is massive.
Yeah, it's big.
That is very what I would ask a question with this one would be it's contiguous.
Yeah.
But what about the community interest? Because you have the same interest over here as you do down here.
Yeah.
So this one is interesting. And but the numbers are right. Oh, there it goes again. The numbers are still right. It's showing. Oh, you know why? Because right now this area is undeveloped.
Right, because it's undeveloped.
Right.
So just imagine if this one was the one and it passed. What's that going to look like in 10 years?
Well, that was what I brought up when I went to the county commission meeting. And I said, how are we taking into account future growth? And the statute says In odd years, the county commission can change their maps.
Ah, okay.
So we got this one, now in 2021. Well, if we grew
Yeah.
expeditiously in the next couple of years, by 2023, they could change the maps if they need
Okay.
to. So, yeah, because this is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
There's housing developments going in all along here. So, anyway, all right. So that one is one. What's our time looking like? Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
it's
Wow.
quarter. It's quarter to
Wow.
8. Well
Time
done for the
flies
math.
when you're having fun. Okay. All right. So let me go down.
This
And this,
is good. Well, this map, just so folks, when they see something like this with the dark blue lines, the dark blue lines are the current lines.
mm,
Okay, so when you see this, it gives you a better perspective when you say, okay, I see they've added here this piece. So that commission district would shrink and that one would get bigger
well,
when you
they
see the
just blew
dark blue
us out of the
lines.
water over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go down really quick. This is two. I skipped two, went down to three. Mm, that's one. Okay, here's two. I believe. Yes. So two is not bad for District 5. It gives quite a bit. This is District 2 in here.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the numbers. District 2 is still pretty big,
It's very big.
153. And they still don't have this piece.
I was going to see District 4 kind of still looks the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is kind of like our original where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it chops and changes over in here a bit. So that one's interesting. Let's move on to number tres.
So this one was the one that in the one graph that we were looking at earlier that said,
It was one of the highly favored ones.
yeah, it was one of the highly favored one. It seemed like from the public.
Okay. And if you look at this, all of this is District 2.
Oh, look what they did. Yeah. Okay, so
They
they're
took,
using, yeah,
yeah. And it's funny when you look at this, though, because you see how small the blue is. It makes you think, well, wow, they're not going to do. But look at how small that is. And it's still 152,996.
yeah,
That shows you how dense this area is.
yeah.
All right. And we're still at 153. And
And look
they
how
have,
spread out. I'm thinking of my campaigning days.
oh, don't
I guess
listen.
if I
You're
was
making my stomach hurt
yeah,
already.
I would want to be campaigning in a nice compact little area instead of running all around that great big area there.
Oh, it used to be you just go next door to your neighbors and down the street a few
Yeah.
blocks over. Uh-uh. You need all kind of transportation. Um, so this is number three. This one I've heard a lot of talk about.
Oh, okay. We've got let me see. There's a comment here
Okay.
on page.
Yes.
Wild Blue, Camerata, 6Ls, and the Mines. Carmen, you remember the discussions on Alico and why it had to be done now, in advance of other areas at the time we thought needed help.
Oh,
She has
okay.
a good memory. I
Yes.
think certainly much better than mine because when I closed the door and left over there, I went.
Are you saying you just forgot about us? What? Come on. But I
Good
know
memory,
down in
Paige.
the area, she's talking about down in this
Yeah,
area
I think
down
it
in
was when we were
here.
looking at that other map. Yeah.
And there's a lot the what is it? I don't want to say salt mines. There's the gravel or whatever you call it
Yeah,
are
you have those
over in
mines and stuff.
here.
Yeah.
Then the mines are down in this way. I drove down here one day a couple weeks ago just to see what it looks like. And I'm thinking to myself, if I paid that much money for a house right here and all the dust from these
Mm.
lines is coming in, I'm thinking, whoa, I might rethink it. But and I'm not saying don't, people. I'm not saying that at all. All right, let's go down to 4 real quick. If my thing will go, it skipped 4. 4 was the one that had all the negative stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is this 4? This is 4.
What did they do here in 4? Looks like they
It
left.
looks like they increased the blue. It comes further over.
Oh, yeah.
Because this over here on the other side of 75 is a section of Tice and Palm Beach Road.
Oh, okay.
And it gave 5 all of this. I don't know why, but anyway. Otherwise, 5 is intact the way it is. But the biggest change in this one is all of the 4 that extends over. And it makes a difference down in this area too. This is a still area down in here. Corkscrew, Alico. It takes a lot of that over. It seems to make the District 3 a little bit small. It does make it smaller.
Yeah.
It does. So
But
it
population-wise, you see, they still made their 154. I think they made it more. Yeah, 154.
that was strange to me. How was still
Yeah.
the biggest anyway. That's one they'd have to explain. Um okay, let's go down to 5. All right, here's 5. They're
Yeah, the blue area is still
still
in blue.
across the
Okay,
river.
so it kind of looks the same as the other one. Where's the difference here?
Well, let's go to the one and see if it shows us. Okay, so most of the difference is over in here. They're saying it's added or taken away some in the top part, the western part of the Cape. District 5 is still hanging in there.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same. It just makes 2 really, really big. Okay. And there's the.
Okay, Bonnie's comment. Didn't they
Okay.
originally cross 4 over the river due to demographics? Is 4's growth south of the river?
4's growth is up in here, the density. This is Cape Coral and all that area.
Mm-hmm.
The density in there is unbelievable. It's a small, compact area, but it is massive in the number of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is still growing. I think on one of those things we saw it was growing like the 3rd highest growth or 2nd.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't believe 4's growth was south of the river.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is like downtown Fort Myers and
Yeah.
Dunbar. And there is some growth in here, remember, with the high rises and apartments and stuff going in.
Oh yeah, the tall ones. Yeah, but they were in. They were there.
Yeah, but no, as you're coming 75 down MLK, headed towards downtown, and Ortiz, all of those apartments over there,
Okay.
there's a bunch, and there's more that will be coming in as well. So it's a potential big growth area. And as far as her question, this is that community interest, because the interest of at least part of this, the Dunbar area, is not similar to the community interest in
North Fort
the Cape.
Myers.
Right. Okay, so, and guys, we're running a little bit late. I'm going to finish this if it kills me.
Okay, Bonnie says, so Dunbar was split off with North Fort Myers years back. Does that split serve the different demographics? So Dunbar was split off with North
Yes.
Fort Myers years back. Does that?
That's what that blue, when we saw that one on the other map, all
Mhm,
of this in here
mhm,
is blue. And in other words, they took Dunbar and part of downtown Fort Myers and took it across the river with the Cape in North Fort Myers. And the
right.
issue that most people have is it's not contiguous because of this big body of water. That's the complaint. And yes, the
And
demographics are different.
yeah, the demographics, it says did the split serve the different demographics? But again, I go back to what you said, community interests. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the majority of people living up here in homes that are, you know, like newer homes, more new growth. And then in this section of like the Dunbar area, you have people that have been, second and third generation in their homes.
Hmm.
So, okay, that was, oh, I skipped down. That's 7. I didn't get, let me do 6C real quick and I'll show you the difference. Is this
Oh,
it?
there you go.
Okay, this is 6C. This is the one that the NAACP is submitted
So they took District 4 all the way
all
from,
the way to the county line.
wow, from Cape Coral all the way, wow.
And I don't understand this piece right here.
Which piece?
This is all
Oh, yeah.
Lehigh, but I don't understand. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, why didn't they sweep that in there?
I don't know. The issue with this, when we say contiguous, is going to be this. The only connection
This
is,
little thread right there.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, and it does allow. From conversations, they wanted Dunbar and Lehigh to be combined, but I'm reserving my comments.
Yeah, again, I guess I would say kind of like the explanation I just had a little while ago when we talked about community interests with the
Right.
other map where Dunbar and North Fort Myers. It just doesn't seem that doesn't seem to also match for me. That doesn't
Well,
seem to
and the
match.
comments that I heard, like at the county commission and all that, were, this thing is freezing on me. Um, they felt that the demographics here in like the Dunbar and all that area were, oh wow, now it went real small, were community interests the same as Lehigh, and I I reserve my comments. You will hear my comments on the 3rd of November, which is next week. And
Hmm.
I want to mention too that the school board will be looking at whether we are going to follow what the county commission, which one they choose, or are we going to look at drawing our own.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
is,
Bonnie says the pink still crosses the river in this one.
yes, it does. However, the pink, the further west you go, the more community interest is the same.
Yeah, the water
Yeah.
issues,
Yes.
the
And then,
waterways
right.
issue.
And if you look at the charts for socioeconomics, um, all those types of things, this is still more, this community would be more alike than different in here. But it does make this one pretty big. And it also,
Dominic says, "Good evening, Miss Gwen."
hi, Dominic. Thank you. I'm going to have you on all the time. You're a great sidekick here. Okay, so this is the last one. This is the one that was presented by Commissioner Hammond at their last meeting. And oh, So what jumps out at you in the very beginning, if I can get it back to a reasonable size? There you go.
Number three is now huge because it's got that huge vacant area worked in there. You know what else just jumps out at me? This is like a pizza. No matter how they've been slicing this pizza, they've been getting the 150 something people.
Everybody gets some tomato sauce and some
Yeah,
pepperoni, right?
yeah. They've been slicing. Everybody's been, yeah.
Everybody gets. I don't know. This one kind of looks like two. Does not get as much pepperoni, but they've got
There
152.
you go. And it looks real compact.
It is, and you've got 151 9, 152 1, 152 1, 152 1,
Wow.
152 330. I
Yeah.
just, now, this one to me is good for 2021. By 2023, because of all this in
Oh
here,
yeah.
they're going to have to revisit.
They're going to have to come back and recut the pizza.
Yeah.
They, I like this one. I feel like this one is more cohesive. Like the communities are more uh, like.
Well, and
They
think
don't
about
seem
it now.
so
Remember
cut up.
this one. Yeah. You've got Fort Myers and Dunbar area with, and someone mentioned this to me the other day that, and originally all of this Fort Myers area, Dunbar and what's the street? Starts with an M. I can't.
McGregor.
McGregor. That all of this was like a community for the most part.
Oh,
But this one gives gateway, and remember, all along here is True Timber Creek, and there will be houses from here at Daniels where the green and yellow meet, all the way down to where the high school is. This is where the Gateway High School is,
okay.
and they are filling in houses. But I was also talking to some staff at the district today, and they were saying that those houses all along here, though, are not predicted to have a ton of children.
Huh.
So when we're talking about district lines for the school board, we'll be looking at that on Thursday. Okay, so if we take this map, what's the projection for children? Because we have to think about building schools.
Yeah. I like that this one kind of took the waterways right on down also.
Yes, and kind of
So,
kept the waterways all contiguous. Yeah, I do like that as well.
yeah, that's kind of
So I
similar.
know that I'm going to come back to you guys and stop sharing my screen. And I think I am, if I can figure out how to do it.
Maybe the commission is going to have to think about, um, you know, doing doing something similar to the school district did, which was 5 district representatives and 2 at large. I mean, we keep growing. I just can't see the same number of people um,
Right.
managing
Well,
and
we're,
taking.
we're going to have to get creative. I know that. Um, so we are at our time. In fact, I'm 2 minutes over, but I think this was a very, very important conversation to have. And again, I will let everyone know the school board has the opportunity to either follow the county commission districts or do our own. So if you hear that we are having a meeting, we are having a meeting on the 3rd, I think, which is Wednesday, and that is the topic.
Okay,
What,
and
what,
then the commission is the day before,
yes.
November 2nd.
So
So you'll have some information for your.
for hours. And then the interesting thing on November 2nd, that's the Tuesday, the commission is having their open public meeting in the evening, I believe it is,
Correct,
because
6
there
p.m.
was 6 p.m. so that people that can't come to an early morning 9:30 meeting can be at that.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for us, it's the same time as we have a board meeting.
Um,
So that's why it works out well though, because they'll have theirs Tuesday night. We can hear all that goes on, and then it should help us in our deliberations on Wednesday.
mhm.
So before we go, guys, yes, we do have board meetings on. We have workshop.
Can I also just leave a message with your
Yes,
viewers?
please, please.
The commissioners in their last meeting were asking people to email them with any comments that they may have on any of these maps. It was some of the public that was at the last meeting expressed that they want that having meetings in the morning, these important meetings like that in the morning, did not serve a lot of the constituency who work. So they made it at 6 o'clock because they want, they were trying to make it so that it be easier for anybody who wanted to come and personally maybe make some comments about any of these maps could participate. So it sounds like they, really want to hear from folks.
Yes, awesome. And so you've got all kind of opportunities. I'm looking at our schedule. First of all, on Monday we have workshop. And remember, at workshops there's no public comment, but you're welcome and you can take your notes and get ready to give them the next day. We will be talking about just the agenda review, prioritizing our workshops, and board development. That is a kind of, training and all that we're going through as a board to
Mhm.
help us be nice.
Dr. Danelle, it was nice to see you on the chat. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, thank you. And then on the second, now the workshop on Monday is 1 to 4. On the second, we have a briefing. At briefings, you are welcome to come and to participate in public comment. It is not until the end. The most we would do as far as decision making at that meeting would be a consensus, perhaps, but it is not an action vote meeting. And if you do come, you have to speak about something that is on that topic. We're having a pandemic update, and if you're interested in that at that meeting, and so the Cape Coral response. I think this has to do with there was an issue of Cape Coral, I think charters, and a discussion about them getting part of our of the CARES Act money or whatever. So that's going to be then as well. A policy review will be done, and on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, we have our main meeting. You can go to leeschools.net, leadership, board docs, and it'll take you to all the agenda items. And just informative, you'll be able to speak at the beginning of an action meeting about anything you care to. And then on the third, from 1 to 4, is when we will have our redistricting meeting that's supposed to be for 90 minutes. And it is it a briefing? It is a briefing. So we will be discussing everything, and at the end, there will be public comment that you can, about redistricting is all done. So that's kind of where we're at. It's been a busy, busy, busy time.
I
And
want
I
to thank you for inviting me to coffee with Gwen.
thank you. I'm going to have you come back more often
Oh,
because this works so good. I can be on one thing and you can be on another and answering questions. It works out. You,
okay.
you just,
Well,
you may have a gig here,
yeah. You know what? Hey, let's your vote. For those of you that are watching, let me know if you like me on her show, so she can invite me back.
and I'm trying out co-hosts. How's that?
Oh,
I always wanted to do that, like The View. We're
Yeah.
trying out
Oh, okay.
there.
Yeah, we could like tackle topics. That might be cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
so. But you guys let us know if this is something that you would watch or you stumbled upon it and couldn't get off. But
It's a
whatever.
captivating discussion.
Derek, thank you so much, Bonnie, Paige. Let's
Hey, share this.
see.
Everybody share this. Share the
Yes,
information.
please share it out. And I hope, and Carla Rubio, all the folks, um, share it. It's also on YouTube. And we will see you next week. And please get some comments in there, and I will make sure to follow up. Thank you all so much, and we'll talk to you
Thank you,
soon.
everybody. Bye bye.